Oh, there is. Well, not locally.
I went to the shop yesterday, there was no choice. They just arrived because the season just kicked off. So there was no choice. I couldn't get them.
Maybe 3 different feeders, and that's all.
Well, yeah. I went to Navan, they both shops. None.
Cage feeders.
These are black.
Okay.
Black.
They look very nice. They're very good, but they're rubbish. Okay, you don't use them in here. Okay, because the problem with a cage feeder is when you put ground bait into a cage feeder in very deep water, as this is sinking through the water before it hits bottom, when that feeder hits bottom, your feeder will be empty. When we have deep water here, these are no good. These won't work. Okay, so never use a cage feeder. The only time you can use a cage feeder is if the water is like 2 meters, 3 meters, 4 meters. 4 meters is the maximum I will ever use a cage feeder. After that, forget it. It's not going to work. And only in the summer. In the summer, cage feeders, yeah, great, no problem. In the winter, no good.
But even in shallow water, the depth of water would have a...
Yeah, but up 2-3 meters of water is grand. After that, no point using it. You can buy feeders like these in 3 sizes. These are Nizza feeders, right? Which most people use these, and they come in like 3 sizes, okay? But for winter fishing, you only need to use these 2 sizes. Forget about feeders. So you're only going to use feeders like these sizes. This is another kind of feeder we use for casting a long way. And again, it's a small feeder, same size, just has the lead in the front. And they're very, very heavy. You can see that they will cast a long way. I think that's 40 gram maybe. You can see it's quite heavy.
Yep.
Oh, you have some.
Oh, you have some,
yeah. Actually, must take one of them as well. These are also very, very good. They're called window feeder. And you put stuff in, and you put ground bait in, and they will actually close as well. You can use them for maggot. They're very, very good for casting a long, long way as well. But I don't tend to use them that much. Now, insulating tape. This is every feeder angler should have insulating tape in their box, right? So I'm going to show you what I do with insulating tape. I always take the lead off the feeder. I always take the lead off, and I always will put tape on a feeder. And the reason is that when I want my ground bait, especially in deep water, to go to the bottom, there's very little way that the water can make the ground bait come out. So it's very, very good as well when you want to put in like some pinkies, some squats, some chopped worms, some casters. They won't come out, so it'll always go to the bottom. Now I always put, some people, what they do is they will put the tape around the lead, but I don't think that's good, because if you're happy with it, sometimes these feeders, they come with different size leads on them. You can see like these are the same size feeder here. One has a different kind of lead. This is 28 gram. This is probably a little bit less, different shape. But you can always take the lead off and put a different lead on with the same feeder taped up. So it's a very, very good trick to have, is to have a couple of feeders with different leads. So for today, we're going to use one of these. So I'll just put some tape on it. And we'll make one of these ready for today. So this is one we're going to use probably for in close, for our probably 40 turns. But if we find we need more lead, we can put a slightly heavier feeder on. So that's no good. I'll get into that different one in a minute. They're the feeders. Like a lot of lead is very good on a small feeder because it casts. You got to remember, when you look out today at the wind is going from left to right. So when you cast a feeder, sometimes if it's too light, your feeder will go like this. It will always go away with the wind. But if it's nice and heavy, it will go straight, because you want it to go straight. There's no point picking a distance when you're feeder fishing, say 40 turns. There's no point saying, okay, I'm going to fish 40 turns if you can't reach 40 turns with a simple cast. If you find that you have to do that, it's no good. Your feeder's too light, or you're casting way too far. Always pick something that you know when you cast, it will go there and it will land straight every time. So now, away from them. So Yeah, so 10s in them as well.
Size 10.
Yeah.
They're like an ankle.
Te kupiłem ostatnio, te kupiłem wczoraj.
Series 18 is the size
Te
12.
kupiłem wczoraj, no. Te kupiłem wczoraj, no.
So, two types of hook I use for feeder fishing, okay? They're both made by Tubertini. One of them is Series 21, okay? And you see the shape on the Series 21, okay? There's two different shapes.
And Series 18.
This is Series 18. So Series 18 is probably the most used hook for feeder fishing in Ireland. It's just very, very good. It's a nice, fine hook, and it's very, very strong, very, very sharp. So I use these, and now this is too big for today, so it's a size 12. So for today you want to be 14, 16, no bigger. So because if I have to use small, I use these. I like to use these. These are Series 21, size 18, but they're actually a big 18. They're really like a 16. So these are what I like to use today. I'm going to use these today for enclosed. If there's bream, I will go a bigger hook. I'll change up to a bigger hook. So I'm going to use. I'm just going to use a size 12 just to show you something. I use Stroft line. Okay. Stroft is it's a German line. It's very, very strong. It's very, very strong. This is 12's diameter, and you can see 12's diameter. It's nice and fine, but you can see it is so strong. You can try that.
Yeah, I get the cup.
It's
I get the cup. I get the cup the same.
You catch carp. It's for but you got to remember the fish you're fishing for today are not that big, so you won't be fishing for like 2 kilo fish. If you catch a 2 kilo fish, it's a bonus. But the most fish you'll be catching will be like 200 gram fish. So you're going to be fishing for small fish, so like this size, and you want to be able to use equipment, a line that at least is strong enough to land you a 2 kilo fish, but it's fine enough for the small fish. So this is 12s, which I think is brilliant for this kind of fishing. The good thing about this line is it's not like some of the other lines. It doesn't. When you reel in your maggots, sometimes you look at your hook length and it's all twisted up. That's because the reels you reel in too fast. But this line here, it works very, very well. It's a nice soft line, just no memory, it's just a beautiful line. I use it a lot for feeder fishing. I also use power match as well in 12s. I find that one very, very good as well. But this one is excellent. So I'm going to show you now what I just grab a hook. A couple of little tricks with maggots, putting maggots on. So I tie all my hooks on the bank by hand for feeder fishing. So I just use a simple knot. I use most people use hook tires. I don't. I just use my hand to tie them, and I usually put 8 to 10 turns of line on a hook. I'll show you another little trick now in a second. That's probably enough. Always make sure it's wet. Always make sure it's wet and trimmed. Now, most people when I'm going to show you maggots. Most people when they put on maggots, they do the standard way, where is they put on maggots, and they'll usually put maggots on like this, okay? And for a hook like this size, you'll probably get 3 maggots onto it, okay? So I'm going to show you a little trick now with doing maggots. So I'm going to put 3 maggots on here. If I was to cast this out, and when you reel this back in again, and you don't get a bite, when you reel this back in, it rotates like this. It's like a little propeller, and this is what messes up your line. But what I do is, I don't put the maggots on that way. I look for a big red. I find a big red. So I'll get a big red. Hold them like so. I put them on like this. Okay. And then what I do is, I'll put another red on. One that looks a bit livelier. And that gives you a nice bait like that. Okay. Now you can put another maggot on there if you want to as well. But I find sometimes you will get a better bite when you shank the red like that and it hides the red. It just seems to work a lot better. Just works very, very well. It does. Slow moving.
Show the hands.
They're very, very slow. They're very, very small. They're kept in, it's like sawdust and sand. And they come from, I can tell you where they come from. They come from pigs. They come from pig manure. And that's so these have to be, these are got in England. They're not, they don't breed these in Ireland. And the pinky as well is he brings, and the pinkies are normally white. It's just that they add different colours to make them different colours. I find these are very, very good. These ones, sometimes I look in them and I will pick out the ones that are a little bit more brighter. And on a day when you're trying to maybe get a bite, putting like some of these on the hook, maybe 3 or 4 of these on the hook, you get a bite sometimes very, very quick. You get a bite very, very quick. So it's actually not bad now, okay? It's very close to being perfect, okay? So I'm happy now. I'm actually happy with the way this is. It's just nice. So you can see the ground bit now. You can make a ball with it, but you can break it up very, very simple. And that's what you want. Now, always riddle. It might take a few minutes because I'm using a very fine mesh and it sometimes takes a little bit longer to do. I have one here actually, I'm going to use that in a second. But I prefer to use this riddle during the winter. It just seems to be, it makes the ground bait a lot nicer. You see there when it comes out this side, it's a much nicer ground bait to use. So you see the difference in it straight away. It's a lot more better mixed. It'll make a nice ball. Just perfect now for going in the feeder. Absolutely perfect now for going in the feeder. Whereas this has too many lumps in it. If you were to use this as a feeder, you would be feeding the fish these pieces here. They're so big and it won't be attractive to the fish at all. But this is just nice now. I'm very happy with this now. I am very happy with this. Very happy. Right, so these guys, you will notice now, are starting to go like that. So that's good. So we'll leave them. We don't need to. We'll take them down to the water. We'll use them. So I'm going to show you who's got their tackle in the water.